The images you see on the screen are not my own. I am borrowing them from another channel. But the reason I'm using these images because I'd like to talk about an experience that was shared with me by an individual who was in the Vietnam War. This individual spoke about how their company was, quote, hit hard by the Vietcong. Now, they didn't see the actual casualties, but they were told on the radio that the company had been hit hard. They also were told that some Viet Cong had been captured who were responsible for hitting the company hard. Inquiries were made over the radio as to what should be done with those who were responsible. Back over the radio, it was told, go ahead and execute them. Now, this was all done over the radio, not in person. So there were a number of individuals listening on the radio, and they heard shots fired. And they assumed that the enemy was executed. Now, they did not actually see this with their eyes, but they heard it over the radio. They heard noise over the radio. And in their minds, they assumed that some Viet Cong were executed. Now, I was not there. This is not my story. This is a story that has been told to me by an individual who was on tour of duty in Vietnam. I can't substantiate it. I can only share with you what was shared with me. Were there enemy soldiers actually executed? That's questionable. But in the minds of the individuals who were on the other side of the radio transmission, they are certain that some enemy were executed. So the way things work in war hoaxing is that fear is constantly present and the imagination goes wild. Now, I must say personally that I was of age to be drafted, and I was frightened beyond belief. I was never drafted, never volunteered, and it never happened in my life. So I do confess that I was not a part of any of this. And I do confess that as a youth who was of draft age, I was frightened beyond belief. But now that things have changed, and we realize that one of the very essence of the economy is war. And war hoaxing is ever occurring before your mass media eyes and ears. So I'm just going to put the story to you and leave it at that. I have other stories on this channel that I share, that I've uploaded a long time ago, and I believe I called them Raw Encounters, R-A-W, and that is war spelled backwards. R-A-W is war backwards. So I called them Raw Encounters, and I tried to tell numerous stories of individuals that I have met over my years of life on this earth who were in the military and in particular in war situations. So you might want to check some of those out, as I can tell stories of individuals that I've known that were serving in World War II, and even some reflections on World War I, because when I grew up there were still some World War I veterans around when I was a youth. I have some vague memories of those individuals. But anyhow, over my lifetime, I've been privileged to know many, many people, and I've been privileged to be able to hear of their life and their involvement in Second World War, Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, etc. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video. End of video.